Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Smart Investing Show with your host, Alton Brooks, on the GBKM Network. This evening we have a wonderful guest with us. His name is Warren G. Salmon. He's the president of Blackboard International and also First Fridays. So let's go. Hello, and thank you for joining us this evening. I am your host, Alton Brooks, for the Smart Investing Show. This evening, we're talking about unleashing the power of networking and education into business opportunities. And to join our discussion will be Warren G. Salmon. He is the founder, the president of Blackboard International, aka Ashaware.com, also the president of First Fridays Toronto. He is a Ryerson graduate in applied computer science, artificial intelligence, and economic studies at UBC and York University. He also started a software company while still being a university student. He's won many accolades and awards, including the Men of Excellence Award for Business, a Bob Marley Award, a BBPA Harry Jerome Award for Technology and Innovation. He's also got honorary degrees and many other awards of excellence. Mr. Salmon, welcome this evening.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brooks. Pleasure to be here.
For sure. And, after that long list of accolades that, it's probably just maybe a quarter of them. Tell me, out of all the ones you received, which one do you actually hold most and dear to your heart, if there is one?
Well, I hold all of them really near and dear, but I'd say some of the standouts are, they're all very special, but receiving an honorary doctorate,
Mhm.
uh, based on my body of work was a big honor.
Nice.
And, I'd say the Harry Jerome Award and African Canadian Achievement Award, as well as the Bob Marley Award are also very, big
Excellent.
standouts.
Well, I'm glad that you cherish them all. It's always great when, what we do resonates with what we're awarded. So I'm glad that so many of them are near and dear to you. But before we get too far, let's go right back to university. You started this company, software company, right in university. Tell us
Right,
about that and how did you sort of figure that out? Because a lot of times we go to school to find a job when we're done,
right,
and then we go out looking for a job. You're in the middle of school and you're starting a company. So
right.
tell us, what was your mindset about that, and how did you, at that age, just figure that out?
Well, I got to say that networking, the power of networking,
Mm-hmm.
is a big part of that. I was working at, so this was, I know I'm dating myself, but this is the early days of the personal computers.
Uh-huh.
And actually, Xerox was coming out with their own computer,
Okay.
and I have a couple of friends of mine were working at Xerox, and I had actually had an opportunity to do some volunteer work with them. And I did some volunteer work as a student, and an opportunity came up. They're looking for some help with some software support to
Mm-hmm.
support their new computers.
Right.
And actually, they told me that they didn't want to hire me. They told me to form a company, and
Okay.
they would hire my company. Started off as a summer opportunity, and then they said, so it was basically a contract. So
Right.
they wanted to sign a contract with my company, and so whether I was doing the work or hiring somebody else to do the work, so I was able to work there in the summer, and then
Mm-hmm.
come fall, I hired another student, to do the work. So
Mm-hmm.
I got paid, whatever, and I gave them,
For sure.
I took my percentage and gave them another amount.
For
And
sure.
so, yeah,
Now, these days we know it as it's not who you know, or it's not what you know, it's who you know. But you were
that's
exercising that in the middle of university. You talked about networking. Like, what did you know about that as a university person? Like, where did you learn that?
so I didn't even know that, I wasn't say I was really necessarily aware of that.
Hmm.
I know my parents would always say, it's good to get to know people and and grow your network,
Hmm.
kind of informally. But so I'd say I had some guidance from my parents, but
Nice.
just I guess so many jobs are found through word of mouth. I mean, I got my first job was through word of mouth. Worked at the Hard Rock Cafe,
Okay.
which was owned
No
by
resume required.
right, which was owned by John Bitove, who
Okay.
was the founder of the Raptors.
Right.
We were kind of family friends and stuff, and
Nice.
so I'd say 80% of jobs are found through networking. So I like to say I learned the importance of that early on.
That is terrific. And, just having the gumption, though, to go out on a limb, start your own business, that takes a little bit of moxie as well. So, what gave you that initial, I can do this kind of mentality?
Well, actually, I started my first business cutting lawns when I was about 10 years old.
Excellent.
And,
10.
and
Wow.
and then prior to the software company that I started, I actually one summer I couldn't find a job, so I opened a pool cleaning service.
Mm.
So I kind of always wanted to be my own
Yeah, yeah. You've been
boss.
very industrious.
Yeah, so I'd say I probably got that from my father. He always talked about the importance of being your own boss, and
Right.
I guess I also know a lot of people who were business owners as well.
So, just hearing those words being imparted at home actually played a role on you, to actually encourage you to do.
Definitely, definitely.
For sure. Let's take it back to 94. You
Okay.
start something called First Fridays Toronto.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Why did you start that? What was the reasoning? What need was it filling?
Sure.
What made you go into First Fridays Toronto? Give us some history on
So we got to rewind a bit further than that.
that. Okay.
So I started Blackboard International in the early before that,
Hmm.
and it's developed a line of educational Afrocentric software,
Right.
and it was actually online initially. This was even again I'm dating myself. This was pre-internet days.
Pre-internet, what's that?
Everything was dial up. They had things like Prodigy and CompuServe, and
I think I vaguely remember something called AOL. You may be referring to something like that. I don't remember, but you know.
so I graduated from Ryerson with a degree in computer science, and I
Hmm.
saw the I guess value of putting things online,
Hmm.
information available online. So I started. Uh, I created an online encyclopedia. Put different newspapers and magazines online, including Essence magazine,
Oh, really? Okay.
like a business directory, a job bank, kind of a platform for the community.
Hmm.
And I found that you know there was kind of a bigger market in the U.S. for
Right,
that.
because I'm wondering, you mentioned Essence. They're a U.S. based company. How did you arrange that?
I just knocked on the door and approached one of their senior VPs, and
Okay.
they gave me a chance, and
Hmm.
it was pretty much everything was text based back then, but
Right.
I was able to put that online, and so I was in places like I found the market for Blackboard was schools.
Hmm.
I was in places like DC and Chicago, a lot of the large urban areas in the U.S. marketing the software, and
Right.
that's when I came across First Fridays. All the African American entrepreneurs and professionals would go to this networking event called First Fridays,
Hmm.
on the first Friday of the month, and we didn't really have anything like that in Toronto, so I saw a need, and just decided to launch it in Toronto in
So you
'94.
actually were experiencing a lot of time in the U.S.
That's
As
right.
far as business wise, and that's how you kind of came upon that concept. That's
That's right.
interesting.
That's right.
So when you started in Toronto, what was your expectations? What were you thinking it would be when you started it?
I didn't really know what to expect, but the first night, there was a restaurant on Young Street. Coordinated with a couple of buddies of mine, Dave Beckford and Mike Purville.
Hmm.
On the venue, a place called the Glass Bucket.
Oh, yes, yes. I remember the glass bucket.
And Gloucester, and So we just sent out made some calls and
Hmm.
you know, invited some people out, and we had about 80 people out, the first night, and it was just basically networking, but saw that there was definitely interest in it, and it took a little while to grow. The second month we probably had 10 people, but
Right.
by the spring we were getting like 600 people out. So it really kind of grew up in a short period of time.
And as they say, the rest is history.
That's right. That's right.
But you talk about pretty much networking along the entire way.
Mhm.
So, for those who are watching, especially business people, and they're looking to network, whether it's looking a job, whether it's starting a business, working with suppliers or vendors, what are just a couple of tips you can give to them when it comes to networking and how they can use that as a toolkit in their toolbox
Sure.
to better their opportunity to be successful?
Right. So yeah, you definitely want to network strategically. You want to look at, you know, if there's a particular industry that you'd like to tap into, you want to look at, where those networks are within that industry and how you can, tap into those networks. Whether it's, attending events or even hosting your own events.
Hmm.
Those are some. Now it's easier than ever. We have things like LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and, Facebook, but the online world makes it that much easier to help and support networking. And you want networking is it's really a two-way street,
Hmm.
give and take. So you want to look at it's not all about what's in it for you, but how you can also help other people,
Right.
and connect them, because it's kind of like karma. Like what goes around comes around.
And from your vantage point and putting on a lot of these First Friday events, what's the one thing you see that our community has the, the most sort of, or has the biggest need for when it comes to networking, or has the most trouble with when it comes to networking?
Well, I'd say one thing we really need to do that I think other communities do well is circulate our dollars.
Mm,
Supporting our own businesses,
right.
and that's part of networking as well. So that's one area where we could definitely, use improve and really make more effort to buy black, so to speak, and support businesses in our community. And so, during the whole Black Lives Matter,
Hmm.
there's been that's one of the things that's been spoken about, and seems to be you know seems to be increasing. But we really need to make a conscious effort to do that, not just short term, but in the long term as well. Businesses are what creates jobs,
Hmm.
and you'll find that most people actually hire from their own community, so to speak.
Right.
So it's kind of
Excellent advice.
that's a win-win. If we can grow businesses in the community, we can also create more jobs. It's just it's just
I
uplifting.
totally agree 100%.
Yeah, and
Now, just to touch on the COVID effect for a second, last year, everything went crazy.
right.
Pretty much everything moved online, which forced you also to adjust to that with
That's right.
virtual First Fridays. So
That's
tell
right.
us about the challenge of that, how you overcame that, and just what was the thinking process while you had to work through it.
Sure. Well, one of the things, First Friday's always prided itself on never missing a month. So since
Mm,
'94, we've never missed a month.
nice.
Event each and every month. Sometimes it'll be on the second Friday, but we've had something each and every month. So when COVID hit, our last live event was March 2020,
Hmm.
and April we went on Zoom and started the virtual.
Right.
So we did that. Really focused on pretty much the GTA.
Hmm.
But in June, so I had mentioned the network of First Fridays in different cities like Chicago and DC and stuff.
Right.
So I'd reached out to a lot of the hosts, from the U.S. who, that was networking,
Right. For sure.
and I said, let's all join together and do one. Let's do First Fridays North America, virtual First Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was started in June of 2020.
Hmm.
It's been going ever since. So
Now, is the plan to continue doing virtual as the world is now reopening back up slowly but surely, or is it
well,
a hybrid
as,
situation?
sure. Yeah, as you know, the U.S. has opened up pretty
Hmm.
much. We're still
So the virtual is going to be Canada only for a while because they're out there in person now.
well, no, we still want to, I guess we're still we'll see how things will
Hmm.
fire, but we're open to virtual or hybrid, but still kind of working that out. So,
For
so
sure. All right, terrific. Tonight we've got with us Warren G. Salmon. He's the president of Blackboard International and First Fridays Toronto. We're glad to have him tonight. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Do you want to be your own boss and make income or extra income with flexible schedule? Welcome to Keenan Courier. Keenan Courier works as a marketplace platform connecting customers who need something delivered with drivers that are willing to serve them. Courier with any vehicle, better trip allocation, and cash out your earnings whenever you want. Download our driver apps today to sign up. Hi, welcome to ZFM's exciting summer program. Last year, the children learned awesome ways of making animation videos. Let's give you a sneak peek of what the children learned last year. This year, we have some exciting programs for this summer. The first program is the cartoon character rigging. This program will teach the children about basic shapes, character designs, character refining, flexi binding, and lots more. This is where children bring their imagination into reality. The program starts from July 5th to July 22nd, and the programs are in 3 phases. The second program is the Kids Coral Draw. This is where children learn how to explore their creative minds by using the software to learn how to draw. The program starts from July 26th to July 29th. Details and registration links are on the flyers. Zoom ID will be sent after payment and registration. Hurry up and register quickly for these exciting programs before the seats are filled up. See you there. Hi,
Welcome back to the Smart Investing Show with your host, Alton Brooks, on the GBKM network. Remember, you can download our app, GBKM, on iOS and or Android. You can also find us at www.gbkm.tv or .fm on the radio dial. We're here every Monday night from 9 to 9:30 p.m. live. We appreciate your support. Just like to quickly say that there are some scholarship opportunities available for young people. If you are looking to go to post-secondary studies, you can feel free to go to the website of the JCA, www.jcaontario.org. Find the scholarship link. There are many scholarships available. So if you're a student in need, or if you're a student who's looking for some support, there are many scholarships available. The deadline is approaching, so please apply right away. Again, it's www.jcaontario.org. Make sure to apply and get in and get that scholarship. Keep working hard. Thank you. Now back to our program. We've got tonight Warren G. Salmon, Blackboard International President, First Friday Toronto President. So you've got this company, Blackboard International. Explain the Ashaware connection, because I go to your site, it's ashaware.com.
Right.
So you got to fill me in there. How does Ashaware come in?
Okay,
Or
so
what does it mean?
It's almost like you have Microsoft, and then is the company, and then Office is the product line.
Uh-huh.
So in this case, Blackboard International is the company, and Ashaware is named after my daughter. Her name is Asha. That's her middle name.
Wow.
Which means life.
Okay. Terrific.
West African name. And so that's where the Asha and the Ashaware comes in.
I see. And the ware was quite popular back then. Everything was shareware, this ware, that ware. So is that where the ware came from?
Yeah, from software.
Software. There you go. Now, I noticed also that it was important for you to create something that was culturally inclusive. I mean, you mentioned, Asha, coming from life, the meaning life. What drives you to care so much about that aspect of things, to make sure that things are presented in a cultural way that, is responsive to those of our culture, and otherwise to make it easier for them to catch on and to be successful? Why does that drive you, and tell us about that?
Well, it's, I guess I grew up going to school here, and there was really a lack of inclusive curriculum.
Mm.
And, I found out, I'd say, probably in my university years
Hmm.
and after that, about the contributions of people of African descent,
Right.
both ancient and modern. I mean, we were kind of taught everything started with slavery, and that was kind of our history.
Hmm.
But our history goes back thousands of years, and if you look at contributions in things like math, science,
Right.
education. I mean, you name it. The African contribution is so tremendous and so significant.
Hmm.
We're not taught that, and I think that is by design. There's a movement going on right now in the U.S. that the Republicans are getting worried about critical race theory.
Yes, there's no need to teach that. Nobody needs to know about that. Let's put it under the carpet. Let's hide that.
That's right. That's right. So it's very important that we have a more inclusive curriculum.
Hmm.
And I think I think really one of the biggest challenges in our community is know what's between our ears. It's
Hmm.
knowledge or lack thereof, education, versus miseducation.
Right.
So I think it's tremendously important, and even I think it's important for all people, not just people of African descent.
For sure, because I noticed that you do cater to every student, and regardless of race or creed, if they need that assistance.
Absolutely. I mean, that's there. People aren't born racist.
Hmm.
They're taught to be racist, and we just look at what's happened. In the last year, whether it's George Floyd or
Hmm.
I mean, look at the Muslim attack in London,
Right.
with the residential schools. I mean, there's just
One thing to another.
you know so much miseducation that leads to that's how it manifests itself.
Right.
So I think it's very important that
And one of the good things is that because it's software, you can download it from anywhere in the world. You don't have to ship a physical product anywhere anymore.
that's right.
Like those 20, items of floppies for Microsoft installs from back in the early 2000s or so.
That's right. So now it's an online delivery, so
Right.
anyone with a browser can access it.
Hmm.
Otherwise,
Now, you're a very big proponent of education. In fact, you became the chair of UNABSI in 2013 and their president in 2015. So tell us a little bit about that organization, what its mandate is,
Sure.
and touch also on the National Alliance version of that on the U.S. side.
Sure. So actually, again, in the early '90s, when I started my software company,
Hmm.
uh, I wanted to reach educators of African descent. I would NABC, the National Alliance of Black School Educators, is hosting a annual conference with educators from across North America and internationally.
Hmm.
So I would attend their annual conference, and so I was actually I'd attended that for a number of years. In
Okay.
2012, I attended one in Texas, the Texas Alliance of Black School Educators.
Hmm.
I was speaking with the new president, about potentially starting a chapter in Toronto,
Right.
and he suggested, well, why don't you look at starting a provincial chapter? And
Mm.
it really made a lot of sense because education is governed provincially here.
Right.
So, it just made a lot of sense for us to organize provincially to really advocate for Black students, families, educators across the province. So that was how that was started, and
Right.
so we're a provincial affiliate of the National Alliance of Black School Educators,
That's
and
excellent. Are there other chapters across Canada, or is it the
so
Ontario one?
so prior to forming the Ontario chapter, there was the Nova Scotia
Hmm.
Alliance of Black School Educators.
Okay.
And prior to that, there was the Canadian Association of Black Educators, aka CABE, which is still in existence, but they're no longer an active affiliate. So, and as president of ONAPSI, I've been in talks with folks in BC,
Hmm.
Alberta, and other parts of the country about, you know, starting a chapter or even networking together.
For
Yeah.
sure. It's all about networking and putting everybody on, one system so you can all just leverage and speak, whether Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or whatever you're going to do. But just keep working at that. We certainly appreciate all of the work that you put into that. But we're talking about networking and education, two areas that you are a specialist in.
Right.
So
Right.
at some point, they have to intersect.
Hmm.
And whether it's for business, whether it's for your own personal gain, whether it's education for school, you want to come on, get a job. Just as you say, most jobs, most situations are not advertised. You got to go look for it. How can both be leveraged to our best advantage? How can we marry those and get the best out of both of them?
Right. So, I don't know if you're familiar with what happened in Peel recently with the Peel School District, which had incidents of anti-black racism.
For sure.
And so I'd say that, the black community in Peel kind of reached out to their network and, to other networks of black organizations and community members to help advocate and, stand up for the community.
Right.
And so that was kind of an example of, a network coming together to advocate for the community. And the results were that the Ministry of Education recognized that the anti-black racism that was going on in the district, from the trustees on down, and so the ministry took over that district, and so there were a lot of concerns with the trustees and their behavior. And so they did a full report,
Right.
investigation and report, and that found that anti-black racism was rampant throughout the district. So, as a result of the network, I'd say, of the community network really helped to affect change to really
Excellent.
help to address that that district and that situation. I mean, it's ongoing. I think using a network of community members really helps to strengthen the concerns and helps with the advocacy.
That is excellent. Advocacy is an important part of what we all should do, because it's important that we say something and not be quiet when there's time for something to be said. So that's excellent that, via the networking and the educational aspects, you guys were able to affect some changes there. This is a question for some of our business viewers. Many of them are looking to do exactly what you did a few years back, go to the U.S., export, get into that kind of game, or even grow their accounts locally. Share a couple of things that they can do to put themselves in the right spaces, to network well, and to grow and be successful, whether expanding to the U.S. or just locally here in Canada.
Sure. So whether you're, regardless of which market you're looking at, you really need to try to define your target market. So, in my case, I found that it was educators. So once you find your target market,
Right.
you really need to look at the best way to tap in, to help to get customers and to kind of target customers in those
Target.
those markets. Yeah, you don't want a shotgun approach. You want to.
All right. Well, folks, you heard it from Mr. Warren G. Salmon. You got to target. Now, just in closing, it was Father's Day yesterday, and I know that you're a proud father for your children. Tell us, what is the thing that you enjoy the most of being a dad?
Well, I got to say it's probably the best experience I've had in my life.
That is great.
Yeah, it's just an honor to be a dad, and just it's just great watching children grow up. And my daughter Asha, she's a young adult now.
Okay.
And I have a son who's just finishing up high school.
Nice.
But it's just great spending time with them, and just watching them grow, and I really learn a lot from them as well.
For sure. One thing about kids, they always keep us on our toes. And there's so much, as you say, there's so much to learn. I've got 3 girls myself, and they just keep blowing me away week after week. So I totally agree and concur. Well, Mr. Salmon, we appreciate you coming by this evening and sharing your knowledge with us. We certainly do appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You're certainly welcome. And to our viewers, please be sure to join us again next Monday at 9 o'clock for the Smart Investing Show with Alton Brooks. We'll be right back. Take care.
GBKM TV, the station with a vision. GBKM TV, the station with a difference now. Slim Flex said so. Big up Ghana, up. GBKM TV.
Do you want to be your own boss and make income or extra income with flexible schedule? Welcome to Keenan Courier. Keenan Courier works as a marketplace platform connecting customers who need something delivered with drivers that are willing to serve them. Courier with any vehicle, better trip allocation, and cash out your earnings whenever you want. Download our driver apps today to sign up. Do you want to be your own boss and make income or extra income with flexible schedule? Welcome to Keenan Courier. Keenan Courier works as a marketplace platform connecting customers who need something delivered with drivers that are willing to serve them. Courier with any vehicle, better trip allocation, and cash out your earnings whenever you want. Download our driver apps today to sign up. Welcome to ZFM's exciting summer program. Last year, the children learned awesome ways of making animation videos. Let's give you a sneak peek of what the children learned last year. This year, we have some exciting programs for this summer. The first program is the cartoon character rigging. This program will teach the children about basic shapes, character designs, character refining, flexi binding, and lots more. This is where children bring their imagination into reality. The program starts from July 5th to July 22nd, and the programs are in 3 phases. The second program is the Kids Coral Draw. This is where children learn how to explore their creative minds by using the software to learn how to draw. The program starts from July 26th to July 29th. Details and registration links are on the flyers. Zoom ID will be sent after payment and registration. Hurry up and